You know, I remember when I was a kid and we went to a swimming pool and I just learned how to swim. And I saw, you know, the big high diving board and I was like, that is the bad boy that I now need in my life. I'm going to go, I'm going to climb, and I'm going to jump off into the deep end. And I must have been like 7 or 8 at the time. And I remember climbing those steps. And the steps just feel like they go on forever, don't they? They just go up and up and up and up. And I was climbing and I was climbing and I was climbing. And then I got there and it looks a lot higher at the top than it does from the bottom, doesn't it? I was like, oh my days. This is like literally terrifying. And I remember walking to the edge and then it's like, it's not even like you just get to the edge and you jump in. You've then got to walk along like this plank of death. What is that? And then there's a wobbly plank of death. I was like, this isn't safe. And it's like kind of like easing onto the plank of death. And I'm going on. And then there's like tiny little girls, like younger than me, standing behind me, just judging me with their eyes. And I was like, oh, I can't even wuss out. And I get there and I had that moment at the end, but I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I've only just learned how to swim. This is crazy. This makes no sense. I'm literally going to die, and I haven't even lived yet. That's quite dramatic, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I didn't think quite like that. But it was terrifying, right? And I think that we get to these moments. We get to them in our lives. Like, we feel this urging, this prompting from God. Or maybe we didn't even feel the prompting. Maybe we just believed something, and we were like, do you know what? If God is real, that means I can just go for this. I can just do this and he will protect me. And we feel these promptings in our lives and then we're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to step out. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go and share my faith with Sharon from down the road. And we knock on the door and then she arrives and we're like, and we're like, am I actually going to do this? Am I actually going to quit my job? Am I actually going to set up a direct debit for my finances? Like, this doesn't suddenly feel like such a good idea. This is stupid. But I had these judging girls. And so my pride then kicked in. So sometimes, let's be honest, some of us guys, we're led more by pride than we are by faith. And my pride kicked in and I was like, I've got to jump. And so I did one of those kind of like flying leg jump things, holding your nose, looking as uncool as you possibly can. And I landed in the water and I went down and I kind of went right down to the bottom and swam back up. And I was like, that was awesome. Like, that was amazing. And then I literally get out and I'm like, the first thing to do, you run, don't you? Anyone else been there? You run straight back round and you get to the diving board and then you don't wait the second time. You just run and you jump in and you're like that bouncy thing of death. Suddenly that's a little bit fun as well. We can just bounce in. And I just went around and around for the rest of the time that I was in that swimming pool, jumping in. How true of that is our story of faith? That when we first get there, when we first push a bit further, we're like, man, this is scary, this is hard. I don't think we can do this. But then when we do it, we find out that it's life itself. That it is so fun that we have just expanded our lives. Do you know, I'm the kind of person who gets afraid of missing out. Instagram's brutal. I see people's lives and I'm like, you just look like you're having so much fun. Just a word of advice, no one here follows Sam Hawthorne on Instagram because his life is way too fun. And it just makes me feel like I'm constantly missing out on what I could have been doing in that moment. I think that we need to wake up and get a little bit more spiritual FOMO. We need to recognize that God is doing so many things in our society, in our cities, in our lives, that there's so much more available to you in your life and that you are missing out. Let's get afraid that we could be missing out on all of the incredible stuff that God has ahead of us. And then start to put some of this into action.